I never had so much as a parking ticket for 50 years. Suddenly I found myself a notorious criminal. It all happened one morning when I drove into Conoco, started to pump some gas into my car, and the clerk turned off the pump at 17 cents. Called the police, had me arrested, and they took me to jail, the infamous Criminal Justice Center, CJC they call it. Jesus Christ calls it cookie cutter justice. And next thing I knew, I was in trial. And they tried to convict me for having stolen 17 cents from Conoco, which at the time was the number 14 on the Global Fortune 100 list. But Judge Christopher Acker of the 4th Judicial District decided that it was a legitimate case and it should go to trial. And I had a trial by jury, a jury of my peers, so they saw this whole thing unfold in real time. Well, the district attorney, he said, you know, you chose that Conoco because you knew it was in the county and not the city. And I said, well, it was in the neighborhood, and we had bought gas there for many years. And the police testified that I had told the clerk that I was on a mission from God, you know, and didn't have to pay for the gas, which was absurd. So it went on like that, and they were flummoxed, and in short order, I was acquitted. And they took me back to jail because apparently they wanted to find me guilty of having passed bad checks. The bankers had to get involved here at some point. So I was arrested on July 28th, and sometime in the fall, they had a arbitration hearing about the checks, and they brought me into the arbitration room. I was shackled and manacled and bound, and I simply insisted that the checks were good, and they had to put in their time, you know, so they insisted that no, the checks were bad, and I said, well, no, the checks were good. So they took me back to jail to await a trial that never materialized. So 6 months after I was arrested, Judge Acker called me into the courtroom. I guess he was embarrassed because he couldn't convict me for having passed a bad check. And he had sealed the case, the 17 cents. He sealed that case. So that was swept under the rug, and he couldn't convict me on the bad check. So he offered me a PR bond. And I said, well, jail isn't that bad when you consider the alternative. So the district attorney, he jumped on that opportunity to demand a competency hearing. They'd love to nail me on that. They've tried more than once. So in frustration, poor Judge Acker, he cut me a bench release and threw me out of jail. I even get thrown out of jail, and I can't even do my time there in peace and quiet. Blessed be the name of the Lord.